It's a funny thing about dirt. If you've ever watched any afternoon television, you will notice that there are at least 500,000 commercials for good, better, and best ways to clean it up. We spend a lot of time and energy and money on cleaning away dirt. But yet, somehow it's oddly compelling to us. Just ask anybody who's ever gone for a mud bath at a spa, or a kid who has spent an entire happy afternoon digging in the dirt in the backyard. At our preschool, at our church, all you have to do is open the door and send the kids out, and they will make a beeline for the things that will make them the messiest. Maybe it's something in how we are wired. Some part of human nature that makes us, at least as children, find it fun to make mud pies and squooch our fingers and toes in the mud. The mud that proves particularly magnetic for the kid who's wearing white or has been admonished to stay clean for some unrealistic period of time. It's that part of the soul, I suppose, that makes even adults want to get our hands dirty, as if some part of our being gets cleansed by building things, fixing things, being hands-on with things, or spending countless hours tilling soil, planting seeds, watering and fertilizing, weeding and waiting for new life to grow. There must be something that we recognize in dirt, something that feels familiar. When you look at the root of words, it's not terribly surprising. There are three words that come from the same root: humus, human, and humility. They are linked to each other. Humus is that decomposition of plant and animal material that's part of dirt. It's the thing in dirt that was alive, that brought life to the soil. Human, the ways of being person. Humility, the quality or state of being humble, not proud or haughty, arrogant or aggressive. Humility is not the same as humiliation, but is a way of remembering that we are who we are because of God's grace. All three of these, humus, human, humility, come together in the season of Lent, a time, as one of my parishioners puts it, of abstinence and affirmation. When Jesus himself is most fully human, most willing to dig in and get his hands dirty. And that is what has the potential to bring us and our faith most fully alive. The root of both human and humility is contained in the earth, in soil itself, in the dust from which we come and to which we shall return one day. As any gardener or farmer can tell us, there's something important in the process of the life and the death and the new life. You don't get to the spring without the winter. You don't get to the new growth without something coming undone and breaking apart. We as humans, as Christians, are called to live in that sort of way, without pride or boasting, paying greater attention to the good of everyone than we do always to the good of our own selves. True humility reminds us that God is the most constant and unfailing force in our lives, and that Christ himself was unafraid to be as humble as it is possible to be for love of us. The things we have, the stuff that we create, the treasures we gain here are fleeting. But God's love and God's grace are forever. The connection between humus and human and humility means something else as well. It means a kind of groundedness. If humus has to do with the earth, the soil, then humility must be the act of sinking our feet into the ground, planting ourselves as deeply as God can plant us, and being in tune with God's creation, Humility is about getting to know what it is that holds us together really, what sustains our lives and growth and connects us to one another. Lent is a time for all of that, for stripping away the things that separate us from God and digging into the things that truly nourish us, not only ourselves, but others around us as well. The more we dig into Christ, into faith, into Lent itself, the more we'll root and grow. I have to be honest with you and tell you that I really love talking in metaphors of gardening, and yet I am a lousy gardener. I am such a bad gardener that I used to give little plants as a symbol to new members of our congregation of the symbol of the relationship and the covenant between us that would grow if we continued to tend and nourish it. And even those plants died. It took them 5 or 6 years to admit it to me. I give rocks now. Let this be the foundation of the cornerstone of it. I can turn anything to a metaphor if you want me to. In fact, when our gardener gives us plants at Christmas, I give it immediately to the operations manager at church so that I don't accidentally kill it. It is a small secret piece of shame for somebody who is the granddaughter of farmers. Both my parents grew up on farms, and on my mom's side, I'm the only cousin who grew up in town. My mother finds God deeply in her gardening, to go out and put her hands in the earth, connects her to the source of all that life, and remembers for her that is the source of her own life as well. My father, I swear, works out his frustrations in his job by going out and mowing the lawn. Getting their hands dirty, sweating it out, seems to purge them, their hearts and souls, in a way that has never really made much sense to me. But last week, my 2-year-old daughter and I planted some flowers in our backyard because she enjoys digging in the dirt and because it's good for kids to see how life grows. Actually, it's good for adults to see the same thing. Like most things that she and I do together, when I start out trying to make something lovely or educational or meaningful for her, I end up finding all the ways that that experience is lovely or educational or meaningful for me as well. Maybe that's what we're meant to do, truly, in these days of Lent, to see how life grows, to tend it and nurture it, water it and nourish it, to pay attention to it in a way we don't usually do, to get our hands dirty, sink them in the earth, and feel our connection to all God has created, to stand and feel grounded in what God calls of us, to connect to the earthliness of Jesus and his humility, and to strive to live in that every day of our lives. Maybe that is what's going to purge our minds and our hearts of distraction, to cleanse our bodies and souls of frustration, and create clean hearts within us, that we may turn and return to God. In this season of Lent, my friends, let's go and get dirty.